Yesterday, my friends, we have already talked about the Atlantic slave trade. So, as a reminder, let me remind you a little bit about what we had earlier discussed in our session. First of all, the European colonists needed labor, they needed workers. So they enslaved the Native Americans. And of course, the deal was that they have to work the land for them for free. And you get some teachings about Christianity. And this is the encomienda system, which the Spanish created, if you remember. So, but there was some kind of a drop in the population. And here I'm talking about the Native Americans, right? Can you tell me why there was a drop in the natives population? Can you remind me? Please, guys, my dear listeners, any help? Why there was a drop in the
Diseases, because
natives
of the
population?
diseases.
Because of the diseases, because of the spread of the European diseases at that time, and they had no resistance for these diseases.
Mister, can I
So that,
say something about the
yes, speak up.
I answered all the questions right, and still he gave me 2.52 or something like that.
2.52. So this gonna mean that you have a mistake. Keep in your mind. Keep in your mind. Okay, Omar, you can go. Keep in your mind, Yusuf, that there were two questions. I need multi-response from you. So this means for the MCQs, the correct answers will be two options. Maybe you have chosen one. And I have already written a post above the question. Please choose all the correct answers, not only one. Maybe you missed one.
I am about in first quiz. There were only two choices, but in
Yes,
the correct answer,
I fixed this issue.
تمام.
I
أصل
fixed this issue safe.
I had this yesterday. I only had two choices.
Sorry, Yusuf.
I had only two choices when I answered.
Two choices out of three, right?
No, I had only two choices to choose from.
So
Maybe it
Yusuf,
was
today after wait, how you're taking your quiz? By using your mobile phone or a laptop?
no, I was using my phone.
So maybe the screen was not clear for you. Later on, Yusuf, later on for the quizzes, please do not use the mobile phone. Okay?
My laptop is
But
not.
uh, okay, do you have a tab? The tab will be much better than the mobile phone. Both
No.
ways, both ways. Today at night, after the deadline, you can log in and see all of your responses. Screenshot them and email me, okay? So I can see what's the problem.
Mr. Again, please, what do we screenshot?
No, here, not Abdulaziz. I'm here talking to you because Yusuf had said that he faced the problem in the quiz. So I'm talking to Yusuf to screen his response and simply email it to me so I can figure out what happened during his quiz. Okay,
Okay,
Abdulaziz?
Sorry, but maybe while I was solving, he showed me two. But maybe when he shows me the correct, it will show me three.
Okay, Yusuf, just screen for me what after Clasera will give you the option to see your responses, to see you the correct and the wrong answers. simply have a screenshot and email it to me, and I will figure out what happened. Now, please, if you have any comments or any questions regarding the quiz, you can ask me now before we start. No more? So let's continue, guys. We stopped at the point of that there was a drop in the European population, guys. So they needed labor. So they will, first of all, they will go to the Europeans and they will get the indentured servants. The indentured servants, guys, were simply poor Europeans who want to enhance their life, who want a second chance, who want a better life. So they will simply go to the new discovered land, start to work over there in exchange for their transportation fees. So what do I mean? The Europeans were poor and they want to enhance their life. So they got some kind of a deal with the European traders. The European traders will simply transport them from Europe to the new discovered land, free of charge. They have to pay nothing. And in return, they have to work for a set period of time. And of course, the colonist must supply them with food and shelter and medical care in order to work for them. So eventually, the indentured servants were costly. So they needed another alternative. So the alternative was the African slaves. So they turned their attention to the African continent, especially the western coast of Africa, this side, from Senegal to Angola. And they started to get the slaves from the western coast of Africa, sending them over there to the new land. So the European traders will go to the African continents and supply the African leaders with firearms and European goods. In return, the African leaders will supply the colonists with slaves. All the raw materials founded here in the Americas will go directly to Europe. And here comes the shape of the triangular trade. European goods, firearms to the African leaders. The African leaders will supply them with slaves. The slaves will go to the new founded land, and all the raw materials in the Americas will go to Europe. This is the triangular trade. So whenever I'm going to ask you, what's the triangular trade? You're going to tell me it's a triangle, the first leg of it. The European traders will supply the African leaders with European goods and firearms. In return, they will get slaves. The second leg of the triangle, the slaves will be transported from Africa to the Americas. The third leg of the triangle, all the raw materials will go to Europe. What's important to me here in the triangular trade is the second leg, this one. This one is called the Middle Passage. The Middle Passage is the way that they use to transport the slaves to the Americas. Of course, they didn't treat them as human beings. They treated them as property. And there's something else regarding the African leaders, guys. How do you think the African leaders get the slaves? Any help? Any clue? My dear listeners? Or should I choose? Omar Ahmed Muhammad. How do you think the African leaders supplied the European traders with slaves? Do you have any idea?
Mr. I know the answer.
Okay, Muhammad Ayman, just wait a second. Yes, Omar. What do you think?
The sea, maybe? The ocean?
The what? Sea? What sea?
They use the ocean, I mean.
To use the ocean. Omar, I mean the African leaders. The African leaders, how do they supply the European traders with slaves? Let's imagine, Omar, that you are an African leader, okay? And you want to finish this deal. The deal is simply you will get some European goods and some firearms. In return, you will give them, you will supply them with some Africans. How do you think you will get the Africans and give them to the Europeans? Yes, Omar. Omar.
Maybe fake wars?
Exactly, yes. It's not maybe, it's for sure. They used to make some kind of fake wars so they can get some captives and they will give them to the European traders. And also, some Europeans were simply walking in the continent and capturing all the humans that they can see. They will cuff them, put them in chains, or even tie their hands in ropes and send them to the Newfoundland land. Okay? After they reach their destination over there, guys, in the Americas, they were sold in auctions. And of course, all the colonists over there will have some kind of documentation in order to show that this slave own personal property. Of course, they will not treat it as humans. The males, the men will be sent to the farms, to the plantations, and the females will go to the domestic labor or for domestic chores, cleaning, cooking, and so on. The males will go to plantations. What do I mean by a plantation, guys? What do I mean by plantation?
Farms.
Farms on a large scale, okay? So plantations, guys, are farms on a large scale that they can grow cash crops. What are the cash crops? Do you have any hint, any clue? Cash crop, what is it?
Cotton.
Cotton, exactly. Any crop that can be sold in high prices. Okay, like cotton, for example, like sugar. So this is the triangular trade. Okay, the second point will be the direction of the slaves. Of course, the Spanish traders will send their slaves to the Caribbean islands. Can you remember regarding the lesson, regarding the quiz of today? Can you remember the Spanish colonies over there in the Newfoundland land? Who can tell me? Of course, it's logically the Caribbean islands because simply Christopher Columbus, when he first discovered the Newfoundland land, he landed on the Caribbeans, especially Cuba and Hispaniola. So regardless of the Caribbean islands, what are the other Spanish colonies? There were two, by the way. Mazen Lachine. Have you taken your quiz or not yet?
مستر انا عملت كويز 2 بس كان فاتني كويز 1 ما كنتش خدتش بالي ان هو نزل اصلا بس عملت كويز 2
مازن حبيبي. You was here from the beginning of the session.
ايوه
I asked who didn't submit the first quiz and no one responded.
انا ما كنتش يعني كنت كنت بعيد عن الكمبيوتر في بداية الحصة حضرتك.
Do you know what you have done? Because simply I was asking who didn't submit his first quiz, because this weekend I will publish the retake. Because simply you was away from the computer, you're gonna waste your chance of retaking the first quiz.
كنتش أعرف والله، أنا قلت فاتني كنتش أعرف.
Mazen, Lashin. Who else, guys?
انا كان عندي برضه مشكله في الامتحان بس انا حليت من الكمبيوter.
لا, the problems is something else. But here I need who didn't submit the first quiz.
ده الكويز اللي هو
So
كان يوم السبت والحد ده. That
It
quiz.
was
I think me, if I'm not wrong.
the previous one. The previous
Yeah,
one about the.
Yeah, I didn't
Mr.
submit. I didn't know.
So Abdulaziz, I will check.
I missed that.
Abdulaziz,
I
if
did
there
not
is
submit the
any
quiz.
other Abdulaziz here in the class?
No, it's only me.
Mr.
Okay. Who else? Yes, Muhammad
Muhammad
Yusuf.
Yusuf. Yeah.
You didn't take it?
Yeah.
Mr.
Guys, wallahi, I asked you this question. Okay,
Mr.
Muhammad Yusuf.
Submit the quiz.
Yes, Fahd.
I
You didn't submit the quiz?
Yes, I didn't do it.
Mm. You was here from the beginning of the session, Fahd.
Yes, Mr.
You didn't hear me, Fahd. Who didn't take the quiz?
No, Mr. I didn't hear you. I'm sorry, Mr.
4 students until now. And I think if I ask more, I can find...
Who's a student?
Sorry, Khalid? Yes, Habibi? You didn't take it. You didn't take it, right? Now your memory is back to you. Now... استغفر الله العظيم يا رب. خالد سيف الله.
وش minus?
Guys, wake up. It's your marks. Okay, no, you will not get minus, Khalid. Inshallah, I will recheck. Okay, I will check again who didn't take the quiz, and the quiz will be published this weekend. I mean, the students who didn't submit the first quiz, if you have already faced any kind of problem, this is something else. Okay, but I mean no submission. Okay, missed the first quiz. The quiz will be published for you at Friday, 10 p.m. And it's gonna be over there for 24 hours. So you have Friday and Saturday until 10 p.m. to do your quiz. And it's about the first lesson.
Is it for only who didn't submit it?
Yes, exactly, Muhammad.
Even if the others had the problem? اللي هو بتاع ال two choices?
The problems regarding the question of the MCQ for the multi-responses, I will fix it, no problem. Do not be afraid of this issue. But here I mean no submission.
Okay, يعني ما تدخلوش خلاص.
No. Okay. I will publish it for the only students who didn't submit the quiz. Any more students did not take the quiz? Okay. So, the Spanish colonies over there in the Newfoundland land, guys, were the Caribbean islands. Hernan Cortez went to conquer the Spanish colonies in the Newfoundland land. Mexico and Peru, the Aztecs and the Incas. So the Spanish colonies, ya أولاد, were Mexico, Peru, and the Caribbean islands. What's important to me, the direction of the slaves, because you're gonna see this question a lot. The Spanish used to send their slaves to the Caribbeans? The Portuguese, the one and only Portuguese colony over there in the Newfoundland land was Brazil. Okay? The English sent their slaves to the West Indies and North America. Keep it in your mind because the direction of the slaves, guys, is an important point in this lesson. The Spanish to the Caribbean, Portuguese to Brazil, English to West Indies, North America. Any questions?
نسمع but sorry يعني be off topic يعني. But Mr. if I get in the first one full mark and I get one question wrong in the second, whether it was a glitch in the system or not yet, do I still take the full mark, whether it's best or average?
I will tell you when I get the answer from the administration regarding your marks, your assessment, either it's gonna be an average of the two quizzes or the best quiz. So I will ask first and I will get you the answer.
Average. It was. Okay.
Was
Full mark. Do I still get the
okay,
full mark?
and your mistake, for example, it's gonna be the average, and I will see, I have to see your mistake. Either it was some kind of a problem with the platform or it's your mistake. So if it is your mistake, you will be deducted. If there is something wrong with the platform, you will get your full mark. Got it, Yusuf?
No,
Is
I
it
mean
clear?
يعني isn't it supposed, for example, even يعني in the normal days, if I get 3 in the first quiz, and for example 5 in the second one, we get the full mark.
Last year we took the best.
No, I mean
Okay.
all year in general, when there is average and
No, we're
someone
gonna calculate it. We're gonna calculate it quarter by quarter, Yusuf. Okay.
What again?
We're gonna calculate it by quarter, per quarter. So for every quarter, you're gonna have 2 quizzes, okay? Plus, in addition to your participation in the discussion rooms, plus your assignments, you're gonna do them or not. All of these will be evaluated. Got the whole picture now? And I have already told you earlier about the discussion rooms, and your participation will be evaluated. And also for the weekly assignments, week by week, for every lesson, starting from last week. Of course, your participation will be evaluated. Got the whole picture, Yusuf? Let's go back to our lesson. The direction of the slaves: Spanish to the Caribbean, Portuguese to Brazil, English to the West Indies and North America. Of course, because of the treatment, the way of treatment over there, they treated the slaves badly. So the slaves started to resist a little bit. But of course, they do it in 4 ways. First of all, you can say that it's some kind of surrendering to the current condition. So they turn to religion for strength and hope for a better life. Other slaves started to slow down their work or even to destroy the equipment they are using because of the colonists treated them badly. Okay, so they started to slow down their work or even to destroy the equipment. Of course, they will not get a stick, for example, or a metal pole and start to destroy the equipment. Of course, if the colonist noticed this issue, he will simply kill them. But secretly destroying the equipment to take a small piece out of it so it will not work. Occasionally, they revolted, attacking slave holders and their families. If they have the chance, they will simply go and kill their owners. So they are free if they killed their owners. Some slaves were able to escape, to flee plantations and establish communities of runaways in remote areas. So these are the four shapes of the slaves' resistance, guys. Religion, slow down work, destroy equipment, to revolt, kill your owner, try to escape, and to establish new communities in remote or in far areas. The last item in this lesson will be the African diaspora, simply because the Africans moved from Africa to Europe and to the Americas, and this movement lasted for 200 years, 2 centuries. So, of course, the Africans, after living over there, they simply spread their culture. They practice their daily routines to sing their songs, for example, to play their favorite music, to practice their customs and traditions over there in the Americas and in Europe. The result, guys, that until now, nowadays, society, significant influence about the African culture. Like, for example, do you know any example about the influence or the significance of the African culture over there regarding the American society? Do you have any idea?
لا الصراحة
Rap,
الصراحة
which had developed to hip hop. First of all, it's an African way of singing. They used to sing their problems and their living conditions in these songs, and they developed it. Nowadays, it's available or it's significant over there in the American society. This is the African diaspora, the influence of the African culture. Generally talking, guys, the slave trade enriched the Americas, but it didn't enrich the African continent. Okay? Until we meet again tomorrow, inshallah, guys. Have a nice time.
So, Mr. What did you say the
Yes.
full mark was?